Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Perth East Council this 4th day of July. I'd like to call our meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. Okay, we have a motion that the agenda as prepared for July 4, 2023 meeting of Council of the Township of Perth East be approved as received. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. If you have pecuniary interest, you can disclose that now or as the meeting goes along. We have 23 items on our consent agenda. Is there anything anyone would like pulled or they have a question on? Nope. Okay. Then we have a motion that items 5.1.1 to 5.1.23 is set out in the consent agenda for July 4, 2023 regular meeting of council be received for information and the minutes of June 20, 2023 regular council meeting be adopted. Moved by Andrew, second by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we do have delegation tonight, and tonight with us we have Kim McElroy, the Director of Social Services, Stratford. We have Chief Greg Skinner, Stratford Police, and Jen Wilson, the OPP. So the floor is yours, and whoever wants to sit at the chairs or wherever you want to sit. Now 3 of you can sit at the desk. That's good.
We'll make it.
If you could just turn the microphone on there, please, if it's not on, and the floor is yours.
Works. Nice to see you. Good evening. Nice to see everybody in person. And thank you for giving us time on your busy agenda to provide you with an update of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. This plan encompasses North Perth, West Perth, East Perth, Perth South, Stratford, and St. Mary's. As the Director of Social Services, I have the honor of currently co-chairing the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. And tonight I am with my fellow co-chair, Greg Skinner, Chief of Police for the Stratford Police Services, and Jen Wilson, correct? Yeah, with the acting inspector for the OPP. I want to say a quick hello to Eric, who has been supporting Perth East with this plan. And we know that many of you have seen presentations on the plan itself, but we thought it might be beneficial to give you a high-level overview why we have a plan, what our priorities are, and where we are to date with this plan. Next slide, please.
So thank you. We don't need to tell any of you that our communities are changing. There's more diversity in our population. There are more vulnerable people needing support. There are more frontline services required to respond to issues relating to mental health, addiction, homelessness, family violence, and self-harm. And these issues are more complex and require the development of strategies, programs, and services to help minimize risk and improve the overall feelings of well-being in our communities. Add into that the rising costs of policing, and everyone should realize that we cannot arrest our way out of the issues we are facing, and we need a more collaborative, cooperative response model that engages all service providers. The Ontario government made community safety and well-being a top priority, and legislation required all municipalities in the province to have a community safety and well-being plan in place by July 2021. The municipalities in Perth County chose to come together and create a single plan as we collectively identified that our municipalities had more similarities of need rather than differences. The government heard the concerns of Ontarians about the need for safer communities and recognized that community safety was a shared responsibility. As you will see in the pictorial, the response to community safety is multifaceted through social development, prevention, risk intervention, and then lastly, incident response, sorry. I know we can all agree that incident response is the most costly ring in the diagram, and by bringing together multi-sectoral partners, breaking down silos, and finding more efficient ways of utilizing resources, we are better able to identify, evaluate, and proactively address issues to mitigate our need for incident response.
Next slide, please. So currently, we have the leaders from approximately 20 organizations across the county, including the CAOs or their delegates for each of the 6 contributing municipalities, coming together monthly to talk about the emerging issues, initiatives being implemented, challenges that need to be considered, and identifying any gaps in service delivery. Next slide, please. As we progress through the roadmap, the leadership team adheres to our guiding principles. The first year might be best defined as the year of inquiry. We reviewed other existing provincial plans, looked at what community-based data and strategic plans that were already in place, started monthly communications to the community, bringing forth awareness of community safety and well-being topics, and engaged with a wide range of stakeholders living and working in the 6 partner municipalities to hear what the local needs were. Next slide, please.
Community engagement and feedback played a significant role in the development of this plan, and here's what we heard. That for all residents to feel safe and physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy, their basic needs must be met. That safety and well-being means residents feel they belong, they are welcome, they are respected, and they are connected to others in the community. There are vulnerable individuals and families in our communities who need additional help to enhance the quality of their lives. There are many excellent social, health, and recreational and leisure programs and services available to residents in and across the 6 partner municipalities. That not all residents are able to access the services and supports they need, when they need them, and where they need them. Next slide, please.
Through consultations and a scan of our community inventory, we were able to identify that many strong initiatives were already underway to address the community's safety and well-being priorities. Again, one of our key mandates is not to duplicate or recreate existing service, rather identifying what programs or services are available and educate the public on what is already happening. Next slide, please.
So the following slides are a reminder of what our priorities are, priority areas, goals, and outcomes are for this plan. Next slide, please. Number 1, systems planning and integration. People need to know what services are in our community, how to access them, and what supports they provide, and what prevention strategies are in place. Number 2, adequate, affordable, and attainable housing. Housing is the #1 priority we hear in our community today, but it is an oversimplification of the issues to believe that housing alone is going to solve the complex needs of some in our communities. I know we all wonder what the future holds for our children when we look at the increasing cost of housing in our communities. Next slide, please. Number 3 is affordable and accessible health, social, and recreational services. We are living longer, more active in retirement, and having just emerged from the pandemic, craving socialization. Healthcare and transportation are critical to supporting that lifestyle. And number 4 was social inclusion. Canada is the fastest growing country in the G7. We recently surpassed the 40 million population mark and are projected to exceed 50 million in another 25 years. A large percentage of that increase in population will result from immigration. Promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion will be positive for Perth County now and into the future.
Next slide, please. We remain committed to these outcomes, and when reviewing new initiatives that come forward to the Partnership Council, we try to ensure they check the following boxes. Does this increase coordination and collaboration between the services? Does this improve access to the services? Will this provide a greater alignment on key safety and well-being issues? Will the outcome reduce demand on emergency and crisis services? And are we enhancing systems planning? Next slide, please. So here are some of the partnership successes, but acknowledging that we still have a lot of work to do. We have utilized funding sources to create 3 positions to address the needs of the community by creating partnerships with multiple stakeholders. The example is paramedicine with outreach, with the social services outreach. We have formed a community-wide communications committee, a county-wide data analysis working group, and we've begun investigating ways that we can support youth in conjunction with the Building Safer Communities initiative. We have also brought forward the need for lived experience panels so that we have a holistic view of the community's safety and well-being issues.
And we've relaunched the situation table with a focus on individuals with an acute elevated risk and in need of intensive multi-agency supports. And we've been enhancing our mobile crisis rapid response team to provide greater access to mental health supports in the community to individuals and families in crisis. And these are just a few of the programs that are in place to support community safety and well-being. Next slide, please.
This slide shows that through collaboration and partnership, we are able to leverage investments for enhanced programming, provide stronger communications to educate the public on the work being done, as well as come up with evidence-based approaches. Thank you. That we are able to measure our successes within programming, as well as identify where the needs are and identify ways to address these challenges.
Next slide, please. Oh, same slide?
Yeah.
Where have I missed here? Okay, so often I hear from the community that when it comes to visible social issues, that nobody is doing anything and nobody cares. And I would suggest that the exact opposite is the reality. Each municipality in Perth County has passionate, committed professionals who are trying very hard to provide support to the most vulnerable members of our society. And it is very difficult work that preys on your compassion and can desensitize people to the suffering of others. I would suggest that most of us have experienced family members who have dealt with adversity relating to mental health, addiction, housing insecurity, or family conflict, and you haven't, and if you haven't yet, you most likely will in the coming years. These challenges are not going away. And it is going to take significant resources and expertise coming together to find innovative responses. When I look back on my career in policing, I wasn't going to the same kind of calls for service that our frontline workers go to now. And it should cause us to reimagine our service delivery models. And that is what community safety and well-being, what the plan is meant to do. I want council to know that your people are trying very hard to make positive differences in our communities. They care and are committed to finding efficiencies in an effort to make things better. And I applaud the ingenuity, dedication, and ability to challenge the status quo.
Next slide, please. So again, thank you, Eric. We wanted to reflect back on Perth East, and these are some of the ways that we feel Perth East is responding to the Community Safety Wellbeing Plan. Next slide, please. And that concludes our presentation, and we're open for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions from council or comments? Nope, you did an awesome job, so thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming and bringing us up to date, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you. Very nice to see everyone.
Yeah, great. Have a good night. Okay, moving on in our agenda, we have no public meetings, we have no public hearings. We move to planning and development, and the first one is consent to sever application, lot creation by Trevor and Bethany Croft. And Susanna's joining us on the screen. So Susanna, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good evening, council. I will share my screen now for consent file B1623. Okay, you can see the screen, the slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, super. All right, so this property is part of Lot 24, Concession 6 in the Southeast Hope Ward. The owners of the property are Trevor and Bethany Croft. And this is the location, the property where the Red Star is, immediately west of Tavistock on the Perth-Oxford Road. This is an air photo of the Croft property. It's outlined in red. And consent application B1623 is an application to sever this piece outlined in yellow from the non-residential Croft lot and merge it on title with a neighboring farm, which is owned by the Logan family. So here is a picture of the survey sketch submitted by the applicants. And you can
Susanna?
see-
Sorry, it's Ashley. Sorry for interrupting you. The slideshow isn't actually flipping on the screens that we can see here in council chambers.
Thank you very much for
We can
letting
see
me know.
the PowerPoint, just not the slides flipping.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Oops. All right, so I will, I'll not do. All right, so here is the location of the property. It's immediately, you can see this now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the property is immediately west of Tavistock. And here is an air photo of the property. So the Trevor and Bethany Kropf own this piece outlined in red. And they are applying to sever this piece from their property, which is outlined in yellow, and add it to the neighboring farm, which is owned by the Loggins. So here is the survey sketch that has been submitted by the applicants. So B16 is to sever this piece, which is outlined in with a red dotted line. And that severed piece, that piece that's proposed to be severed by B1623 is 0.4 acres. So it's to come off of the crop property as a lot correction and merge it onto the neighboring farm property, which is owned by the Loggins. And this piece over here is owned by the Loggins and is being considered concurrently with the next severance application, B1723. So I'll review that next. Here is a photo of the house on the crop lot. And here is a picture of the buildings. So there's a shed here and then a large barn, which had been originally built for chickens and then subsequently renovated for hogs and is now not being used. And there's also, you can see on this slide, there's also manure storage that's not being used on this property. And this is another picture of the barn standing on the east side on Perth Oxford Road, and this is the east side of the crop lot. So if I go back to this slide, maybe I'll simply stop sharing. So the consent application is being brought to Perth East Council for your conditions, for the Perth East conditions. And they are listed at the front of the report so that the manure storage and barn on the retained parcel be removed to the satisfaction of the Perth East chief building official. And that confirmation be received from the Township of Perth East that the apportionment schedule for municipal drains have been reviewed and updated, if necessary, to the satisfaction of the municipality. And then there are 2 standard conditions with regards to ensuring that taxes have been paid and that the municipality provides a clearing letter that all municipal requirements have been addressed. So that concludes the crop file review. And I can move to B17 if you'd like to hear both of those reports before you offer your recommendation, or perhaps council would like to offer a recommendation on this file.
Yeah.
Sure, move to the next one too.
Okay. Okay, so here is okay, so this is the Logan property, owned by Bert and John and Nancy Logan. And again, the property is in the same location, adjacent to, also west of Tavistock, adjacent to the crop property to the east. So between Tavistock and a non-residential lot that's owned by the crops. So this is the Logan farm that's owned by John and Nancy. So the yellow piece here is the lot correction for this property. And here is the same survey sketch, and I've outlined the piece in red that's being considered as consent file B1723. So you can see there's 2 lot corrections. This piece that's been considered as by B16 and owned by the Crofts to be severed and conveyed and then merged on title to the Logan farm. And then this piece that is owned by the Logans to be severed and merged on title with the Croft undersized lot, non-residential lot. And here is air photos. So I'm standing now on the corner, the intersection of the log and consent. This is the neighboring property owned by Wayne Shum. And this is the Croft property, which you saw photos of earlier. So the conditions, again, for consent applications, Perth East is a commenting agency, so we are bringing the file to you for your comments. The standard condition for municipal drain apportionment is the one condition that applies to this lot, or this severance application, and then the 2 standard conditions that any taxes that are outstanding be paid in full, and that the municipality has provided the planning department with a clearing letter stating that all municipal requirements have been satisfied. I also would note that the neighboring property, I'll share my screen one more time. So Mr. Shum has engaged a lawyer, and that is Paul Robinson, and Paul Robinson has provided comments to the planning department, initially stating that there was an error in the mapping of the original notice that had been circulated. So we corrected that error and recirculated the notice after Mr. Robinson had confirmed that the mapping was correct. And then we heard that perhaps, let me show you this slide, that perhaps the front of this driveway, or the front of the Croft driveway, so this driveway, may actually go over the Logan property. So we have proposed a condition, which would be a county condition, that an easement be provided if necessary, if in fact the Shum driveway goes over the piece that's proposed to be severed by B1723. Those are all the comments I have, and I'm certainly available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on either of these reports? See no questions. On the first one, 8.1.1, we have a motion that says the Council of the Township of Perth East received the report dated July 4, 2023, prepared by the planner entitled Consent Application File B16-23, Lot Correction by Trevor and Bethany Croft for lands described as part of Lot 24, Concession 6, Southeast Hope Ward, 985019 Perth Oxford Road, Tavistock, Township of Perth East for information, and that Council recommend that the County of Perth Land Division Committee or its designate approve consent application file B16-23 affecting lands described above, subject to the following conditions. And we have 4 conditions, and they're number 1, that the confirmation that from the Perth East that all taxes are paid in full. Number 2, that the manure storage and barn on the retained parcel be removed to the satisfaction of the Perth East Chief Building Official. Number 3, that the Perth East apportionment schedule for municipal drains in the area have been reviewed and updated as necessary. And 4, that Perth East has provided a clearing letter stating that all municipal requirements have been addressed. So we need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. And our second one, 8.1.2. We have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated July 4, 2023, prepared by the planner entitled Consent Application File B17-23, Lot Correction, submitted by Trevor and Bethany Croft on behalf of John and Nancy Logan for lands described as Part Lot 24, Concession 6, Southeast Hope Ward, 985019 Perth Oxford Road, Tavistock, Township of Perth East for information, and that council recommend that the County of Perth Land Division Committee or its designate approve consent application file B17-23 affecting lands described above, subject to the following conditions. And there are 3 conditions this time. Number 1, that the confirmation be received from the Township of Perth East, all taxes have been paid in full. Number 2, the confirmation from Perth East, the apportionment schedule for municipal drains in the area are reviewed and updated. And number 3, that Township of Perth East provided clearing letters stating that all municipal requirements have been addressed. You need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Hugh, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. Okay, great. Thanks, Susanna. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, and good night.
Okay, moving on, we have no report from the CAO. From the clerk, we have the appointment quarter revision member for the Mueller Municipal Drain. So Ashley, the floor is yours.
Eric's gonna do this.
Eric, sorry, Eric.
No problem. So yeah, this reports on the Mueller Municipal Drain. North Perth received a Section 78 under the Drainage Act for improvements on the Mueller Municipal Drain. So in accordance with Section 97.3 of the Drainage Act, as some of our lands are assessed, we will need to appoint someone to their quarter revision. So we're just asking for a person to be appointed to the quarter revision, and their quarter revision is scheduled July 24th at 6:30 p.m. in the Municipality of North Perth Council Chambers. Thanks.
Okay, is anyone able to go? Andrew? Okay, Andrew will go. Okay, great, thanks, Andrew. So Council of the Township of Perth East received the report entitled Appoint Quarter Revision Member, Mueller Municipal Drain, DDC-2023-23, dated July 4, 2023, prepared by the Development and Drainage Coordinator for information, and further that Council appoint Andrew McAlpine as the Township of Perth East representative on the quarter revision for the Mueller Municipal Drain. A mover and a seconder, moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we have no report from Finance. From Public Works, we have tender results and budget amendment for the rehabilitation of the Rollston Bridge. So, Wes, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, the tender results for the bridge, of course, they come in higher. It's kind of a story of our lives lately with any projects that we do. But I'm looking for approval and budget amendment. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Wes? I feel like I'm echoing. We have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated July 4, 2023, entitled Tender Results and Bridge Amendment, Rehabilitation of Rollston Bridge, PUB 2023-18, prepared by the Operations Coordinator and Manager of Public Works and Parks for information, and further that Council approve the proposed capital budget amendment of an increase of $85,000 for the Rollston Bridge Rehabilitation Project funded from the Bridge Capital Reserve, and further that Council award the tender, contract number BR351C, for the rehabilitation of Rollston Bridge to Strat-Con Construction Limited for $287,481 exclusive of HST. We need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we have nothing from building, nothing from recreation, nothing from fire. So now we're down to correspondence, and the first item of correspondence is the Milverton Business Association Moonlight Madness event on August the 17th, and they would like a temporary road closure request. Jeremy, you want to speak to this?
Yeah, in further review of the map, it may not be a good idea to route people down Pacific Ave, but just so I don't know, the Public Works might be able to find an alternate route for that traffic, or maybe they both head up like Grosh Street in that direction instead of Pacific.
Okay, anyone else with questions? Does it say that in there? I was trying to find that.
It a little messy down there.
Okay, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the correspondence from Jeremy Matheson, President, Milverton Business Association, dated June 9, 2023, regarding the annual Moonlight Madness event on August 17, 2023, temporary road closure requests for information that council approved the temporary closure of Main Street, Milverton, between George Street at the north end and Grove Street at the south end on Thursday, August 17, 2023. Rain date is Thursday, August 24th from 5:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. in order to accommodate the annual Moonlight Madness event. And further, that large vehicles will detour around Milverton by way of Line 61, Road 136, and Line 67. And further, that the certificate of insurance state that the Corporation of the Township of Perth East and the County of Perth be added as additional insured, but only with respects to their interest in the operation of the name insured. Okay, moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and the next item in correspondence, we have a letter from Brendan and Carol Ann Barrett, Milverton residents. They're asking us to, the Township of Perth East bylaw prohibiting backyard chickens. So what would council like to do with this letter? Amanda?
Just asking if, obviously this is a pretty popular topic across municipalities in Ontario. Have we received other correspondence at another time where a decision was made on backyard chickens regarding the bylaw, or is this a first for us?
I'm sure we did years ago.
From Millbank.
There was a request to come in, it's gotta be a decade ago.
Turn your mic.
Sorry, yeah. What's on?
Oh.
Everyone's been hearing everything I'm saying anyway. Yeah, I don't remember what the outcome of that discussion was. Obviously, we didn't change the bylaw at that time, but I think we had something a decade ago where there was conversation about it.
Pardon? I don't remember that. Do you? Go ahead.
I'm sure it wasn't the only one that remembers it, but it came across as probably a complaint from some neighbors because those that were keeping more than just chickens created some safety hazards with the amount of rodents and debris, swimming pool being used as a pond, et cetera, et cetera. So it generated a lot of angst in the neighborhood for the unsightly neighborhood lawn that was now a backyard farm, right? So at that time, we chose to do nothing to change the status. And I think throughout the years, you've seen some municipalities cater to those that wish to have farm fresh eggs, if you will. But, you know, if you talk to any poultry producers, egg layers, they would be extremely opposed to anything that would be conducive to the spreading of disease, which occasionally happens with migrating birds. And the more incidents like this cause, you know, mass quarantine and slaughter of birds, which has happened not too far in the past. So it's probably frowned upon for most rural municipalities because of that reason. And I think those that farm are probably familiar with those incidences.
Thanks, Bob. I do remember that now. Amanda?
Yeah, so I echo some of Bob's concerns regarding biosecurity and like with avian flu and rodents. But I know just given the economic times that we are in, eggs is a more affordable protein for families. And I did a quick kind of Google search of some municipalities and what their bylaws are regarding chickens. So some municipalities, if it's zoned agricultural or rural, they allow it. Guelph limits the number of chickens to 10, Kingston 6, Waterloo allows it, but no roosters is their bylaw. Peterborough 4, Norfolk County 4. So just to give a flavor of like what some other municipalities have done, they limit the number of chickens. There's also some other municipalities in urban areas, so like Burlington and Toronto, where they've piloted or require people to have permits to keep them. So I just wanted to throw that out there for discussion. So just putting that out there, that's my quick research on some of the other areas that have looked into this sort of thing.
Okay, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think maybe Wes can speak a little bit more to it, but I think we would allow it in an agricultural area, but the R zoning forbids livestock unless it's for transportation, or it's worded some way like that. Is that correct? Like is it the R zoning that does not permit it? Agricultural zones, I'm sure it's fine, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a horse for transportation. It's in our zoning bylaw.
Right.
Okay, anyone else? So then what is council's wish? Somebody want to make a motion? Hugh?
I've not made a necessary motion, but could we just check with AG or whatever Farmers of Ontario what their thoughts are on that? Myself personally, if you had 4 chickens, it wouldn't bother me, but if it's a huge concern to them, then I wouldn't go forward with it.
Are you making that a motion? Or are you just a comment?
No, we can make it a motion.
Okay, so Hugh's moving that we check with the Egg Farmers of Ontario?
Any feather industry, like the broiler or any other industry too, that would maybe possibly have a concern about biosecurity.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Andrew? Any more comments or questions? Amanda?
Just a comment. I won't be supporting the motion because I am going to move something on my own. Because I just think that we need to have staff look into a report for consideration. So that's just my thoughts. I think I'm going to know the answer of what the farmers are going to say on the biosecurity piece.
So do you want to amend their motion, or you want their motion to stand on their own?
I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think that we need to have staff to come back with a report on some options for council's consideration. So part of that could be checking in with the feather commodities, as Deputy McDermott suggested. So I don't know if he's comfortable if there was an amendment to that, but then I think that makes a lot of sense to me if there's comfort there, which I'm seeing nodding, so I think that's a yes.
So you want an amendment, or you just want to add it to your motion?
No, she can make an amendment or add it to the motion, whichever.
Okay, you want to make an amendment or not?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please.
And that would be?
That council directs staff to come back with a report that outlines some options for council's consideration. And in that report back on what our feather commodities say regarding the biosecurity piece.
Okay, and do we have a seconder for that part, the amendment? Hugh? Okay, any more comments or questions? So we have a motion the amendment we vote on first. So we have an amendment that staff bring a report back to council, and in that report, it is, they ask the who?
Sorry.
You do it.
So
Sorry.
the amendment will just be for directing staff to prepare a follow-up report with potential options for chickens. In Deputy Mayor McDermott's resolution, he had requested follow-up already from Bird Industries with concerns, comments regarding biosecurity. So that second portion of yours is covered in his.
Okay, clear as mud. So we're voting on the amendment first, okay? So that staff brings a report back. All in favor of that? Opposed? Okay, carried. So then the original motion with the amendment is that, read it.
So to receive the correspondence from Brendan and Carol Ann Barrett, Milverton residents, dated June 26, 2023, regarding Township of Perth East bylaw prohibiting backyard chickens for information, and that council directs staff to follow up with the bird industries for concerns and comments regarding biosecurity.
Okay, any more comments or questions on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. We're moving on to council and committee reports, and the first is my mayor meeting log. That's where I was for the month of June. Any questions, what I did, where I was? Anyone else have any reports that they wish to bring up at this time? Amanda?
I attended the ribbon cutting for the new playground at King Cora, so it was really well attended by the community and families, and the kids certainly really love that. And then also just regarding the Perth East Twinning Committee, we're tracking for another meeting in August. We'll be finalizing plans for our German guests that are going to be joining us the week of Thanksgiving. And then also just to flag, the Alice Optimist will be hosting a family fun day in August, date TBD. And so this is going to be making up for their Canada Day barbecue that they typically host. So they've decided to do something different this year. So stay tuned for ticket sales when that goes live in the coming weeks.
Okay, anyone else have any reports? No? Then we need a motion to receive the mayor's meeting log and the verbal report from Amanda. Moved by Jeremy, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, now we're at bylaws. We have two bylaws that have first, second, and third and final reading. First one is bylaw 111-2023, a bylaw to consolidate municipal drain maintenance completed in 2021 to 2022, and bylaw 112, it's a bylaw to collect assessment for the Corcoran municipal drain and to repeal bylaw 110A-2023. So we need a mover and a seconder, Jeremy, and second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we do have a closed session. So,
Do you want to skip into the?
oh, sorry, yes, sorry. Let's move to, any notice of motions? Any new business? Any announcements?
Sorry, new business. The delegation.
Oh, right. I was doing so well, I thought. Okay, we have a motion that Council Township of Perth East receive the presentation from Kim McElroy, Director of Social Services, Stratford, Chief Greg Skinner, Stratford Police Services, and Jen Wilson, Acting Inspector for Ontario Provincial Police, Roadmap for Collaboration, Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan 2021 to 2024 for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, any other new business? Any announcements? Nope, okay, so we do have a need for a closed session. You want me to read the motion to go into closed session? We have a motion that says that regular meeting of council of the Township of Perth East be temporarily adjourned at 7:44 p.m. to permit the holding of a meeting in closed session for the purpose of litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administration tribunals affecting a municipal or local board. Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Council Township of Perth East rise from closed session and reconvene to regular session at 8:18 PM. Moved by Amanda, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. And bylaw 28-2023, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on July 4, 2023, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Hugh, second by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. And the last motion of the night is that we adjourn at 8:19. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.